are currently pushing the front axle forward to get it away from the cab. So you can see I've been kind of grinding this down, grinding this away. It's obviously been sitting in the rain, so it's been rusting. I do have to grind this down, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to end up cutting these bolts down, at least the two that are in the front, because they hang down below where it sets on the tube. So I got everything prepped the best that I can, and right now we're gonna go ahead and cut down some of these bolts. You can see I already had to cut one down, so I basically just set them in there and just marked them out. You can see a little bit of blue Sharpie there. So take those back out and cut them down, put them back in, we'll be good to go. And luckily I have these old U-bolt nuts that are the exact same thread pitch, and just screw them all the way down, bottom it out, and there's my blue line. Cut right on top of that, we'll be in business. Threads right in. If you're ever gonna cut a bolt down, always use a nut on the backside, because when you go to cut the bolt, it can mess up the threads, and you want to recorrect the threads after you take the nut off. That's what it'll do. Everything is going in pretty nice. You can see the old center line was kind of right here where this shock was. So the new center line is all the way up here. So this is about a 3-inch forward, which is, I think this is gonna work perfect. My only worry is that it's gonna end up rubbing up here, or if I have to trim this out a little bit more, which I will deal with that. I just wanted to get away from the cab and get a better approach angle. But this is all coming along pretty nice. So now I gotta figure out pinion angle and make sure I'm good left to right. So I have measured time and time again, back and forth, moving this like 1/16 of an inch, left to right, forward to back. I've put a straight edge straight down and measured each side to make sure it's not sitting funky. And I've checked my angle. This has pressure on the springs, so this is about where they're gonna be. And before I had 5.5 degree of pinion angle, and I'm at 5.53. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the welder out here, tack these guys on, and flex it out, see what happens. All right, I got the axle in. Note to self and note to everybody else, don't do what I'm doing. Using a cast knuckle radius arm Dana 44 and using it for leaf springs. It's not very pretty. Not my favorite welds ever. But I'm gonna make it work. So the axle is now in, it is bolted up. The welds are not exactly my favorite, but I make do with what I can. So next, I want to measure and make sure my toe and everything is good while I have all the tires off. I will be coming back and taking each bolt out, putting some red Loctite and putting them back in. I am still in the mock-up phase because I still have to get the driveline in. My pinion angle is good, and I still have to do the brace for this piece right here on both sides. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and get my toe going. So we got the new axle shaft in. This is the Nitro Gear one that I had. I think this one might have been a factory stub shaft because there's no markings. There's a Spicer marking on there, but I think it might be from factory, which is very surprising. Got this all painted up, got Loctite in there, and cut off the old bump pads and welded them on to the new plates. So still have about the same up travel. These guys are all done, just got a brace in between there. And she will be sitting back on the tires here shortly. The only thing that is holding me up at this moment is I don't have a C-clip for the outer stub. So I've got to go to the auto parts store and replace some U-joints for warranty and stuff like that anyways, and see if they have the snap ring that I need. Everything is good to go. Got the steering all back on, got the ram on there. All the perches are on, everything is painted, shocks are in, shaft is fixed. So you can see it actually pushed it forward about 3 inches. So the old center line used to be right where the top of the shock was. I ended up just reusing the shock brackets, and hopefully the bushings don't wear out too quick, but we definitely got the back of the tire away from the cab quite a bit. So that is looking way better. So that is checked off the list, and as you can see, I am starting to work on the skid plate now. So this is just one full sheet, and obviously there's going to be portions that get trimmed out. For the drive line, I'll come in and take a small section out there, and same thing for the rear, I'll be taking a section out there. But right now I am trying to figure out if I want to do this cuts and form it to the actual frame and then have to trim out for the transfer case and some of the other stuff, or if I want to just make a spacer that fills this gap in. But we are out of time on this video. I got a few other things that I got to do. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and finish that skid plate up and then see if we can't go out wheeling. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, stay off-road.